how hard has the colonial hangover hit us? How deep has been the impact of 200 years of slavery on us Indians? That Ganga became Ganges, Karm became Karma, and Indians became Angrez. India, for decades, has been known for its rich cultural heritage and moral values. But if we ask ourselves, are we capable enough to be known that way? A land where people shed their blood and sacrifice their lives just so that the future generations could call themselves proud Indians, so that everyone could live together in harmony, so that the real meaning of culture would be known to all. But I don't see that that is the case today. We have forgotten our culture. It's quite funny that when we greet each other, it's usually not with a namaste, but with a hello. And instead of respecting our elders and valuing our relationships, we tend to give greater importance to our ego and self-pride. And these things are doing us no good. Instead, this is what we see then. Something that our culture hasn't taught us. The Indian culture says that we need to love everyone by first accepting them the way they are. Our culture taught us that we need to be tolerant towards the elderly and respect them, no matter what our opinion is. But we tend to pretend that we are very modernized, and we fail to know this fact that modernization and culture can go hand in hand. And this is where we lack. And all this is caused because we are drifting away from our language, and it is only the language that connects one to their culture. So, the equation we know today, that Hindi equals to down market, something we don't want to use in our daily conversations, something that is not going to place us any higher in the other person's list of intelligence. On the other hand, English equals to success, something. It just seems that having a good command over English is as if you've been given a guaranteed passport to success. But that is not the case. That is how we know everything. I agree that being fluent at English is very important, especially in today's modernized world, today's globalized world. It is very important. But then, that doesn't mean that we forget our own language. Language was meant to connect us. Language was meant so that we can all connect together by expressing our thoughts, by communicating what we are feeling, how we are feeling. But this is not what is happening today. I'll give you my example. I chose Hindi literature over English literature in IB as a part of the literature curriculum. And this one decision of my life seemed as if I was answerable to so many questions. I was literally bombarded with questions. And I was really shocked as I saw people's expressions, as I saw people react to my decision. They pretended that it was something very unusual. But why? Why does that mindset still exist? In my mind, the changes Britishers brought about in our society at that point of time, for sure, have changed our perceptions in today's world. Secondly, the biggest mistake of our life, we have started measuring intelligence based on the language we know, through the means of language. It is often perceived that a person who has a greater command, has a better command over the English language, is brighter. But do we think so? Do you think so? We have also started measuring status symbol through language. A person who has a higher status in society, it demands that person to know the language of English well. But why so? And thirdly, obviously, job prospects. It is the overall society, it's the perception of the society that if we have a good command over English, we are going to get a job for sure, and that too very easily. And very sadly and unfortunately, that is actually true to some extent. This is because our society values language more than our actual skills, which is not at all good. It's not benefiting us. So I just wanted to see if everyone shares the same perception as me. And I conducted a survey in my neighborhood. This is what I found. I asked the school-going children that, do you remember the Hindi alphabets? And 100% of them said no. They know the A to Z, but they don't know K, K, G, G. And we call ourselves Indians. Then I went to the office going the working age people. And I asked them that in which language do you conduct your business meetings? And almost 83.3% people said they do it through the means of language English. And only 16.7% people said that they do it through Hindi. And lastly, I went to the elders of a society. I went to the senior citizens of a society. And I asked them that, do you think that the younger generation today is drifting away from their own culture? Do you think that the impact of westernization and modernization has been such that we don't care about our language and our culture anymore? And they said yes. In fact, 100% of them said yes. All of them said yes. So I basically can prove myself right now. This is the proof to what I'm saying. Another example. Let's see this map. The green areas here, like USA, Canada, Alaska, Australia, United Kingdom, these places are the places where English is spoken as their first language. It is spoken as their official language, and it's very common over there. But if you see places such as India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and some regions in Africa, then you can see that these are the places where English is widely spoken, but not as their national language. It's just an official language there. And I was really surprised by this, because even I felt that if we have a good command over English, then that means that success and our success and our growth is obviously there for sure. It's for sure that we're going to succeed in life. But this map got me thinking. China. It's one of the biggest manufacturing hubs in the world. And they have promoted the culture so much to that extent that Mandarin Chinese is the most widely spoken language over the globe. It has more speakers than the language English does. So have they failed? Did they not grow? I'll give you another example. If you see countries such as Japan and Germany, in such a short span of time, they have grown so much. They have gained so much of growth, so much of development. Because as a part of their culture, they've come together, they have united, they have joined hands so that they can see their economy growing and blooming. This is what culture does, not English. And I asked some of my Japanese and Korean friends, and I was startled, I was shocked to hear from them that in their country, business meetings are conducted in their own mother tongue and not in English. Most of them. Now, you must be thinking that why am I even standing here promoting Hindi? What's the use? It's not even spoken in the southern part of India and not even in the northeast part of India. What am I even doing here? Wasting my time? No. What I think is that Hindi, because it's our mother tongue, it basically preserves our identity and it gives a sense of belongingness to us. We are social animals. We need a place to belong. We need somewhere to connect. And culture gives you that place, wherein you're not judged according to in terms of your color, in terms of your creed, in terms of your caste. You're just you. You're part of that culture. And you get the sense of belongingness. Culture is something that bridges gaps. It basically connects everyone. But then, if we want to connect through culture, we have to know our language. And that is why Hindi is important. The second reason is that keeping in touch with our ancestral roots is very important. Because we cannot respect our culture or our country till the time we don't know its history and its past. So it is very important that we know our history and our past so that we can connect to our culture. And if we cannot even respect our culture, then how can we respect our language? How can we respect our people? And I don't know if I'm wrong to say this, But I think that India, the major obstacle in its growth is the fact that we're not united. It's the fact that we judge each other in terms of how well we know English. But that shouldn't be the reason. That shouldn't be the case. So I have a couple of questions for you. In which language did you first learn to speak? Was it your own mother tongue? If you're not a Native American or a Britisher, then this question is for you. Was it your mother tongue or was it your language English? Thank you so much. And how did you learn the language English then? School. Okay, yeah, Spanish. I heard Spanish somewhere there. So it basically means that we used our own mother tongue to translate and to learn the new language, which is English, a second language, a foreign language for us. It is very surprising that India, which is a land to almost 22 major languages, we cannot find a language that connects all of us because we're just running after English. We cannot find a language that bridges all our gaps. We cannot find a language wherein we can say that we're proud Indians, we all are united, we are one. We don't have that language. We don't have any culture like that. And it is often, it is a funny thing if someone says, I'm a proud Indian. It's considered a joke. This is what we're doing to our culture. This is what we're doing. Now you must be thinking that I'm against English, but that is not the case. English is very important in today's globalized world. We need to communicate our thoughts to each other. We need to know the English language so that we can communicate with people who are not native speakers of our own mother tongue. We do, right? But then, again, the right equation is this, that we shouldn't forget the language which has come from our mother's womb. This is the right equation, that Hindi equals to our ground and English equals to our sky. Now what I mean through this is that English should be a language which fuels growth, which fuels personal development. English should take us to heights. But then Hindi is needed as a ground. Every person needs a ground to fall on. Every person needs a ground to stand on. We need a ground, we need a base. We can't just fly up to the heights without a ground. And then that ground is provided by your culture, by your language. So this is the right equation in my opinion. And I would like to end my talk by saying that don't forget your small home in this huge world. Connect with your people, connect with the world, connect with everyone. Build all your gaps, bridge all your bridges. Just become one. Respect your culture, respect your country, respect your language. Because that is something that should be the most important thing to us. Because it's us. I'm an Indian, that's my identity. If we lose that identity, then I don't know. I think we're going to lose ourselves. Thank you.